press the red subscribe button before you watch this video. No, you watching the video, you clicked on the video, press the red subscribe button immediately, now, for a cookie. Please, just press it, please. It will help out a lot, and I'll continue making videos. Please.
Giannis joined Dwayne Wade and LeBron as the only pair of teammates to have each 500 points and 100 assists in a single playoff.
Tested negative, don't worry.
You have paperwork?
Huh?
You have the paperwork?
It's on the email. I'm going to forward it to you. Okay.
I trust you.
The other night, I don't think you were asked about, and this is a little bit off the court, but LeBron was at the game. And I'm thinking to myself that when LeBron was in his first finals appearance, I don't think you even started playing basketball yet. You know, it was 2007.
2007.
You obviously notice him. Did you engage with him at all? And not even LeBron. You know you're in the finals when you have, you know, Adele's courtside and the stars are out. You know, thoughts on that and how it hit you?
Crazy. Yeah, first time he was in the finals was 2007. I wasn't playing basketball. That's crazy to think about. Yeah, obviously, you know, I know the team is LeBron James. He was sitting right across our bench. Well, I didn't have the chance to engage with him, and you know, I wouldn't engage with him. That's something that I don't do. It doesn't really matter who might be my mother sitting. And of course, I see that I don't engage while I'm playing. I just try to focus as much as possible. And but this is crazy. This is a crazy story. This is not a promo. The night before, I was watching Space Jam on HBO. Yeah, so I was watching Space Jam. You know, and you know, there he goes. This is the courtside sitting. But no, I wasn't able to engage with him in any way. Yeah.
Vince in the back.
Hey, Giannis, I know you guys like to focus on what's now and not necessarily the past, but how does the last couple of years of the heartbreak and not being able to meet those expectations maybe help you develop some mental toughness to where you guys can come back from deficits in the game or in the series? How do you see that? Do you think that's helped you mature and helped you grow to get to this moment now?
For sure. It helped me mature and grow and become more mentally tough. And, you know, it doesn't really matter. This is a playoff game. You know, everything can happen. Like, you know, I remember in the Instagram songs, we were up 2-0 and lost 4 straight. You know, and I'm trying to think what was the mindset of the other team. You know, leaving Milwaukee down 2-0, and now they're thinking they got to go back home, protect home court, and, you know, then come back here, get one. And then, you know, I'm just, you know, trying to think what they did, you know, and try to learn from, you know, our mistakes and our failures as much as possible. I don't focus in the past. I try to learn from it and move on. And I think it helped me throughout my career. You know, when we're down 2-0, they did it. Why cannot we cannot do it, you know, kind of thing. And or when we're up 2-0, finish, you know, get the job done. And one thing that I think I've learned personally in the playoffs, like, I think early in my career, I was like getting too high, too low. You know, we played a good game. I was, so happy, you know, because like you feel the intensity from the crowd, the fans cheering and all that, and how, you know, the trip back home, or like if we were in a flight or whatever the case might be, we were here at home, playing at home, how I felt good going back home. And I was getting like too high. And when we lost, I felt like it was the end of the world. And I feel like this year, lose or win, that did not happen. Like I was the same kind of guy, you know, I just live with whatever outcome comes, you know, because I believe that, you know, I'm supposed to be, you know, be there in that time and place. So I don't really worry about the outcome. But I think that's one thing that we've done as a team, knowing that being up 2-0, finish, like close our games, being down, it doesn't really matter. We got to figure out the way to win and never get too high, never get too low. You know, you make 6 threes, doesn't really matter. The next game, you make 0, and I feel like we've moved on really, really good. And if Kris does it, if Coach does it, if Jrue does it, you know, I feel like the rest follow.
Lori?
2 quick questions, if I could. First of all, how hard was it for you to become the vocal leader? And what I mean is you've always been popular and well-liked team guy. So to get on somebody or to tell somebody, hey, you needed to be here at this position or whatever, that's different. You put that popularity at some risk, but you've been more vocal this year. Was it tough, or have you invested in your reputation? You can do that now because the guys know who you are? That's the first question.
To answer your question, Laura, like, I don't care about being popular and being the most popular guy, and I don't care at all if I could be the least popular guy on the team and just come here and do my job and go back home. I'll take that. It doesn't really matter. But I feel like when you play to win, that comes easier. You know, early in my career, I was really quiet, and obviously of the language barrier, it was harder for me. I felt like kind of like I'll say the wrong thing, I'll say something stupid, you know, so I just chose not to talk at all. But now it's a little bit easier for me. You know, I can get a lot better. And I think Kris and Jrue and guys and PJ and coach have helped me like be more comfortable with that. But yeah, I think early in my career was the language barrier. I felt like I say something stupid, but then I realized like I'd rather say something stupid than not say nothing at all, you know. And throughout the journey, throughout my career, guys helped me with, especially Kris. Like he was like, talk, say something, you know. Like PJ that I've been with him for like 2-3 months now. He's like pushing me to talk. George Hill helped me a lot with it. Guys throughout my career helped me a lot with it, but I can get a lot better.
And I know you're a family guy. Did I see this? Isn't Mariah expecting? Is she in her third trimester? Are you dealing with that too at home, or is this all?
Yes, she's expecting. She's going through this pregnancy alone right now. No, I'm joking, but no, she's expecting. She's healthy. She's fine. She's at home. Everything's going well.
Brian?
That's great news.
Thank you.
You know, I guess in the 7 months of the season, quite a bit of it, we had no fans, only a few fans, whatever. And now tomorrow you might have here, 20,000 inside, 20,000 outside. I had lunch with Sam yesterday. The waiter was saying they don't even know how they're going to get to work. It's going to be so crowded here tomorrow. What does it mean to you to not only be at this stage, but to be at this stage where Milwaukee can actually enjoy it if it happens? Because we didn't know if that was going to be the case a couple months ago.
It's going to be amazing. Hopefully we can, focus on what we got to do. Be in the present, compete as much as possible, play good basketball, and be the team that wins at the end. And hopefully we can enjoy it with our family and with the fans, and that they can enjoy it also. I feel like it's something that you can feel the excitement in the city. And last time we were in the NBA Finals was 1974. And it's been a while, so I'm happy that the fans are enjoying it. There's 20,000 people in the arena, 25,000 people outside the arena. But we gotta focus. We gotta do our job, and then they can do their job celebrating at the end. But we gotta do our job first. So we gotta be in the present as much as possible. I cannot focus in celebrating. I can't focus in that right now. Because I feel like you get too ahead of yourself. We gotta focus in. I gotta focus right now, and then when the game comes tomorrow, focusing is possession at a time. Possession at a time. As I said, play good basketball, compete as hard as possible, and put ourselves in a position to be able to win that game. That's all you can ask for, and hopefully we win. If we win, great. If we don't, we have one more chance. But if we win, it'd be nice to celebrate with the fans, inside and outside, and with our families, because this is it's something historical that happened in the city. It's happening in the city right now.
Tim?
Hey, Giannis, two things. First, you just mentioned that you have to try to stay in the moment. You said the same thing after Game 5, but this is a moment you've been talking about for years. How do you...
This moment, right? Talking to you right now?
Always. I know every moment with me is special, but obviously I meant tomorrow. So how do you keep that out of your mind and focus on just playing the game and not thinking about everything else?
It's hard. It's hard, man. It's hard because you work so hard to be, in that moment, which is tomorrow. And it's hard not to get ahead of yourself. But this is the time that you got to be the most disciplined, and that's what I'm going to try to be. I'm going to try to be as disciplined as possible. Don't get too excited. Don't get too pumped up for the game. None of that. I can't play the game right now. The game is tomorrow in, I don't know, at 6 or 9, 8, whatever the time is. Right now, there's nothing I can do about that. So I don't even try to think about that. But it's very hard not to. Like, sometimes you sleep about it, you're dreaming about the game, But this is the time that we have to be disciplined individually. Me, Kris, Coach, Jrue, Brooke, all of guys as a team. We got to be disciplined. We can't worry about that. We cannot have any plans about of celebrating, none of that until it's done. And that's the mindset I'm going to have until tomorrow.
And when you were answering Vinny's question about the experiences you guys have gone through, you said that your mindset's a little different this year. Before the playoffs, I asked you why this year would be different, and you said, I don't know if it's going to be different, but we're just going to try our hardest and see how it goes. Mm-hmm. What has made
because I was in the moment.
Yeah, I know you were, and that's my question is what is different about this year that you have not had those swings in emotion that you did in the past, and you have been able to stay kind of present.
We didn't get too high, we didn't get too low. We didn't get too high, we didn't get too low throughout the season. As I said, we were down 0-2 Brooklyn. We came back, we did our job. We're down right now, we came back, did our job. We were down against Atlanta, came back, did our job. We were up against Miami. We went there, we did our job. Tried to steal one, then tried to steal second one. And as a team, I feel like throughout the year, we didn't get too high, we didn't get too low. We kept focusing, like building good habits, and I think it comes from, as I said, Coach, Kris, Jrue, me. To have that mentality, and then he passed down to the whole team. So we did a really good job. Now, is he going to end up well in the championship? Who knows? But no matter how he ends up, I'm really proud of this team. Really proud of all the work we've put in.
Eric, over here.
Hey, I have two for you. I know you enjoy talking about your feelings a lot, but I was going to bring it back to basketball for you. For you, middle of the fourth quarter, you have the ball on the left wing. You beat Ayton to the floor or to the rim, and you sneak in like a right-hand layup and one. I feel like that's a move you've mastered this year, and I'd be curious why you went to that move. It's not a power move. It's a finesse move, and your game is so much about power. I'm curious why you've started to use that.
That's what my instinct said at that moment. It wasn't like premeditated. I just caught the ball, saw the angle, saw the space, was able to sneak one in. But my game is not power. Come on now, my game is speed. Fast. No, I'm joking. But as I said, I saw the angle, I saw the space. And it's kind of hard to like move your feet from here to here. It's kind of hard to change your angle when you're defending. It's hard for me, so I know it's got to be hard for him. So that's why I was able to, sneak one in.
So that's not something like you spent the offseason working on or anything like that? Like, it feels like you've done it before, but it's more often now.
Yeah, I didn't spend the offseason. That's like an instinct move. I used to do it probably back in the day more, like work on it more, but I don't work on it as much because now it's almost like it's instinct. Like I don't think about it. Like there's some moves that you like, okay, I'm gonna go there and make this move. You kind of have to work on it, and then it translates to the game. But in that move, it was just it's just instincts.
And then I was gonna say, throughout this finals, we've seen multiple like pictures and images of like you hugging Kris or you like leaning on Jrue like after a big play. How do you feel like you've gotten better at making this a we journey and not a me journey? Like including everyone in that process.
Have to, everybody's a part of this process. I don't think there's been anybody that gone through this process by himself and go all the way and win the NBA championship. Like we have to do it together, And I need Kris to be great. I need Jrue to be great. I need Brooke, Bobby, all of those guys to be great. But it's just like I feel like you see that more because once you see a team and guys like. Put everything, like all the effort and compete, and you see how tired they are after games. That's why you kind of like, because they go through this journey with you. Like I'm tired, I look next to me, Kris is tired, and Jrue is tired, or whatever the case might be, And that's why you kind of like, it's like it's like you're they're like my brothers, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why you want to hug them, put your arm around them, and like, we got this together. We got to keep doing this together until the end, and we're close to the end, you know. So, but that's where you see those moments more and more and more in the playoffs. In the regular season, I was trying to stay COVID-free, you know. I was staying away. But yeah.
Zora, last question.
I do want to go back to your feelings for just a little bit. I know you're not, active on social media right now. You say that pretty frequently, but the other day your words resonated with so many people talking about how, like, the past, I believe, is your ego, right? And the future's pride, and the moment is humble. What do you think of the fact that people accept your words, whether they know what a free throw is or a three-pointer is, that they're listening to you as a person to give life advice?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I should be that person, man. I just play basketball, but as I said, it's something that helps me. That's what allows me to cope with all this, with basketball, with my life, my family, and it might help somebody else out there. If it helps, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Great too, But yeah, I don't know if I should be the one, giving advice. As I said, this is something that helps me, helps me go about my day.
One quick last one for you. Based on like your experience in prior series or even people you've talked to, maybe your brother, right? What does it take to succeed in closeout situations? I know you say, go ahead.
You gotta be in the present. You have to be in the present. And once that present comes, you'll know what it takes to, be successful. But right now you can't. We don't know what it's going to take. It might be a defensive stop. It might be Jrue coming and saving the day again. It might be Kris hitting 10 straight points. It might be me blocking a shot. Like, we don't know what it's going to take. But I know that we have to be in the present. We have to enjoy it. We have to compete. For now, that's the three things I know. Once the game starts, every possession is going to be different, and we're going to figure out what it takes to win the game.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Players with back-to-back 40-point games: MJ, LeBron, Shaq, Jerry West, Rick Barry, Giannis, and Devin Booker.
Now being in this situation, what are the things that you're leaning on? What are the experiences you're trying to draw from, like when you're in a win or go home type situation?
I've never really been here before, so I'm just treating it as a series, treating it as, I've seen Game 6s happen in the past. There's been Game 7s that happened in the past. So just us as a team, I just heard Kris say it, just figuring out, a way to win our next game. That's our mindset coming into here. That's been our mindset, since we obviously frustrated after the loss, but wake up the next day. Now it's, that loss is behind us. What can we do next?
Besides just kind of thinking about, okay, I've seen Game 6s and a series can turn. We've all seen that before. Are there people you're talking to? Are there advice you're seeking outside of the team? Or is it more just keeping it in-house at this point?
Yeah, we're keeping it in-house. That's been our motto the whole entire season. Our group, knows what's at stake. We know what's on the line. So there's no shortcutting it. We're in it right now, and, we have to figure it out, and we have to get it done.
Sam?
Devin, the outside looking in, I think when a team goes up 2-0 in the finals, drops 3 games, there's this assumption that that's about as demoralizing as it could be. But then Monty just talked a moment ago about, what he's seeing behind the scenes, and that in terms of the spirit, whether it's meals together and the time you guys are spending on the plane, that he really liked what he saw. Do you agree? And just what does that say about your guys' ability to keep your heads in a good place?
It says a lot about this group. Like I said, obviously we were frustrated after the loss. But we're a type team that realize, that's over. Whatever we do forward is going to determine whatever our future is going to be. So we're going to go out here today. We haven't watched film as a team yet together on the game. So I think that's step one for us in preparing and coming up with the scheme to go out there tomorrow.
Dwayne in the front right.
Devin, we've talked about you waiting to play in this situation, and now you're in a situation that guys you watched have been in and have found a way to get that kind of win. Do you draw from that at all? Like, okay, I've seen guys do this, I can do the same, or we can do the same as a group.
Not really. I mean, we just have our group. You know, it's kind of hard to, compare and contrast what LeBron did in the finals in whatever year. You know what I'm saying? So, we have a group that's us, and that's how we keep it. So we're trying to figure it out right now, how we're going to go out there and do it. And we know it's possible with, the group that we have and what we've leaned on for most of the season.
Quick follow. Coach has always had the right thing to say
Mm-hmm.
to you guys all year. What's that been like to have a coach that's so dialed into you that once he starts talking, you're like, okay, I know exactly what he's trying to get to us?
It keeps the energy right. There's no second guessing what coach says. He has the best interests, and he's right. So we listen to him. He's somebody that we've leaned on through this whole season for our locker room, for how we perform on the court, for what he just mentioned, how we, get together as a group very, very often. So we have a tight-knit group.
Over here on the left, third row. In the first two games of the series, which you won, you were taking almost 43 pointers a game as a team. Over the last three losses, that number's been a lot lower. What are you seeing from the Bucks defense that have kind of limited those opportunities? And do you think you need more of them in Game 6?
Yeah, I think with the team and the capabilities of the shooters that we have on this team that, we need to generate more threes. Obviously, they're switching a lot and staying home on shooters. So, there's just a way of figuring it out, putting pressure, causing gravity to open up opportunities, easier opportunities for everybody on this team because, we have a lot of really good shooters on this team.
Steve, on your right.
Hi, Devin. When the series shifted here for Game 3, Jay Crowder talked about using his Milwaukee roots to get food catered in, keeping you guys close, not sending it out into the night where you'd have to interact too much. What has the road experience been like in this series for you guys? Has it been helpful even in terms of that, keeping the circle tight, or is it just different?
I mean, we've pretty much been doing this the whole season of, not leaving the hotels and being close to each other. So, it's pretty similar to what we've experienced for most of the season.
Eric, over here.
Hey, Devin. The Bucks kind of did these same things against the Nets and Kevin Durant, where it was a lot of switches, a lot of one-on-one, and then him scoring a whole lot of points. You're doing the same thing. You're scoring a whole lot of points. You mentioned in response to his question about trying to get other people involved. How do you try to strike that balance? I know maybe it's difficult when you are having as much success as you are.
Just take what the defense gives you. Just read what's going on and, try to make the right play. I think, the last three games that we've dropped, we've been in position or had opportunities to win the game. So just taking advantage of, whatever our best available shot is or our best available stop is for that possession and doing that.
Mark in the third row on the right.
Hey, Devin, I know you mentioned time and time again your focus on the finals here, but what's it been like going up against Kris and Jrue, knowing that next week you guys are going to be, Team USA teammates?
A lot of fun. Only basketball that, I've been wanting to play for a really long time. So, I'm having a lot of fun with it, competing at the highest level, that basketball has known. So this is a great experience. I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Brian, here in the front.
I would guess that, for any great player, after something like Game 3 where you lose and you struggled, it's easy to say, okay, I have to be better next game. You've been very better the last two games and you haven't won. What is your mindset for what you're supposed to do going into Game 6 now?
Be better, as a whole collective group. We all know, like I said earlier, what's at stake and what's on the line. So everybody's going to have to give a little bit more because what we've done hasn't been enough.
Vince in the back.
Hey, Book, you just mentioned how much fun this is being at the finals when, especially not having made the playoffs, and you're getting buckets, you're scoring big. I'm just curious, when you're the only person that has it going, what's that mindset like? Is it, let me get Mikal a shot or Kris a shot, or is it, I got the matchup, this is what I do? Is it a balance between it, or just what is it like in the moment when you're the only one that has it going and the lead is getting bigger or the lead is shrinking, or, you know what I mean, when you're in that moment?
Just trying to get the best available shot down. I'm gonna keep saying that. Like that's what our offense tries to do, whether it's a open shot for somebody else or a mismatch we feel Deayndre has with a smaller opponent, or if it's somebody that I feel, couldn't guard me that possession or whatever it is. It's just trying to get the best available shot for our team that possession.
Dave in the middle.
Devin, in covering these playoffs, it's clear that winning is what matters to you, not the numbers. But having put up back-to-back 40-point games against this team, against this vaunted defense, what does that do for you in terms of the confidence of knowing that this challenge ahead of you, you're equipped to complete it?
That's a tough question because we didn't win those games, and that's the only objective there is out there. So back to just gonna have to do more. Whether it's a stop, make a play for somebody else, take a charge, get a 50-50 ball, stop offensive rebound. We know the steps, we know the possessions that have hurt us throughout this playoffs, and we understand the details. It's well communicated throughout our team. So, just being on it, being ready to go, but still enjoying the moment, having fun with it.
Tim up front.
Everybody knows, Devin, the history you had here before Monty showed up. And when he came in here before, he said that when he got here, you had no reason to trust him because you just hadn't been around him yet. And I was curious, over the past couple of years, how has that relationship evolved to the point where, like you said when Dwayne asked you before, that you just know he's right when you're talking to him?
You said, how has it evolved?
Yeah, just how,
going through experiences together. Like you said, just spending time together. That's the only way I feel you can develop real trust in time, is going through experiences and having conversations with people. And, Monty has made a point to do that since the day he's gotten here. So, all of us trust him. We all trust each other. And, it's a culture and it's an environment that's fun to be around. And, it's why we've had some of the success that we've had this year.
Steve in the back.
You talked about how fun it is competing with Jrue and Kris before you all leave for Tokyo. I'm just wondering what that dynamic's going to be like. How tough is it to kind of be teammates with a couple of guys immediately after you've competed with them, against them, with so much at stake?
Say just understanding competition, and that it's never personal, between who you're going with, unless, lines are crossed, and, those guys, aren't that type, and I would never go that way with them because there's a high respect level for us, for each other. And, I think that's why we're in the position that we're in right now. And, representing your country is a whole different dynamic than competing against each other in, the NBA Finals. But, I can always respect somebody that competes at the highest level.
Palmer, to you on Zoom.
Go to Catherine Fitzgerald with the Arizona Republic.
Hey, Buck. You talked a lot at the last few weeks about trying to learn more about the Suns' past to honor those former teams. And I know you guys, this team, you want to win for yourselves, of course, and that's a little separate. But when you look back at kind of that history, how has that informed, what you're going through right now and how meaningful this all is?
This I always say it's a basketball town. This organization loves the city, loves the Phoenix Suns, and, it comes with that rich history. People have generated memories that are going to last them a lifetime. And I think that's the beauty of sport and whole. You can get behind something, rally behind it, and, this city has been wanting an NBA championship for a really long time, and has been really close multiple times. So, just understanding that and understanding what's at stake, and, the city means a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The first 4-game losing streak of the season. Here's Chris Paul.
Hey, Kris, I think, for your abilities, Game 4 wasn't great, and probably the first half of Game 5 wasn't great. in that comeback, you played really well in that fourth quarter. Did anything sort of you noticed differently that you could take advantage of tomorrow, or was it just shots started falling again?
I don't know. I sort of gauge things off wins and losses as far as me. You know what I mean? It ain't necessarily how many points, assists, or whatnot. Obviously, turnovers are something I try to keep down, but just try to be aggressive. Obviously, making shots help, but being aggressive on both ends, not just offensively, but defensively too.
Gina in the second row.
Hey, Kris, we know that you can't give up now on your shoes. That's even something some fans have kind of gravitated toward or caught on to just for these last couple of games. Just how much are you leaning into that motto even more just right now, just given what this team is facing?
Yeah, throughout this entire playoff run, this is our first elimination game. You know what I mean? So it's for real. You know what I mean? It's no looking back now. We got to come out, be ready to play, and it's either win or go home.
How have you seen your teammates kind of respond in that same way? Just that this is kind of a new thing for you
Yeah,
guys?
I think everybody's just been talking about embracing it. Coaches said all season long, everything you want is on the other side of hard, and it doesn't get any harder than this. So we know that this is a must-win game for us, and nothing more than that. Now we got to hoop.
Lisa?
Kris, seems like every time Kris Middleton, if you defense him, he kind of like take advantage of the heights and do the isolation. So for the next game, what is strategy like? What do you need from your teammates if you play the one-on-one with him again?
Just keep making them be tough shots. You know what I mean? If you make it, it's going to be tough. So I think they went damn near the whole third quarter without missing a shot. So what they say, good offense beats good defense any day. But at some point, we got to make a miss, and I think that's what we're going to try to do in Game 6.
Over here on the left side in the back. In the first two games when you won, you were taking almost 43 pointers a game as a team. The last few games, it's been a lot lower than that. Game 5, you were even below 20. You and Devin are two of the great mid-range scorers in the league, but do you think you need to extend your range back a little more to maximize those opportunities?
I think we just got to figure out a way to generate more threes. If that's penetrating, it doesn't just have to be me and Devin. That's the way we done played all season long. It's penetrating the gaps, finding Kale, Cam, Jay, all the different guys on our team for threes. And obviously, when you lose a game and you look at it, you analyze, you're like, oh, they should have shot more threes. It's a lot of what they call them Monday morning quarterbacks. But we've had to play a way that we played all season long, and we're going to try to play that way Game 6.
Dave in the center.
Kris, there's an inherent pressure that comes with an elimination game in the NBA Finals, of course. But is there any excitement for someone like yourself who spent literally your entire life trying to conquer the game of basketball, master it, tinker with it? This is the ultimate level.
It's definitely exciting. Something that coach and everybody been saying, if you went to the beginning of the season and said we had a chance to be where we are right now, would you take it? Absolutely. Absolutely. And we get a chance to determine the outcome. It's not like the game is going to be simulated or somebody else got to play. We get a chance. We control our own destiny. So I think that's the exciting part about it. And knowing who we have in our locker room, knowing what we're capable of and all the things that we went through all season long. So we wish we didn't have to wait as many days as we got to, but, it is what it is.
Hey, Kris. During the Nets series, PJ Tucker had kind of told me that, the times he gets the most mad is when guys would help him on KD. He wanted that one-on-one. If KD scores, but don't help. They're kind of doing something similar to Book, where they're not going to help as much. That's going to be, hey, we're going to live with this. If Book gets 40, Book gets 40. How do you try to get Book to approach that, knowing that maybe part of the reason why you're not getting as many threes is they are wanting him to be the scorer and not involve as many other people?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't know their strategy. You know what I mean? I'm not in their locker room. I don't know what they got going on over there. All we can control is what we do. So we're going to continue to play our game. Book is one of the best to ever do this. So we gonna figure it out.
Yeah. We're going to do Dwayne, Sam, and then Vince.
Kris, just going over Game 5, what do you feel like were a couple things now that you've seen the film that's just like, Jay was just talking about breakdowns. He's like, we just can't have that. Is that what this simply comes down to, or is it something bigger than that?
Yeah, turnovers, fouls at certain times. You know, every time we sort of made a breakdown or missed an assignment, they made a shot. You know, so if we can limit the amount of mistakes that happen, look, you don't play a perfect game. Everybody would love to play a perfect game, but it's not that way. I think if we can cover up for each other and just have each other's back, and then at the end of the day, as long as we go out there and play hard and compete, we can live with that.
Sam?
Good seeing you, sir. Two for you. The other night when you and Devin are side by side and he gets asked about, are you frustrated for Kris? I mean, I can't read his mind, but the takeaway for me was that this is not about Kris. And a lot of your career has been Kris and his playoff past and this and that. And was that sort of the spirit of why that question doesn't get answered?
Book back there. I think it was kind of like a common sense thing. You know what I mean? This is like a team sport. You know, like this isn't tennis. This isn't golf. I think we all want to win, you know. So I think it was sort of self-explanatory. That's just me, though.
And I know what your answer here is going to be, but because of your reputation, if you have games where you're not up to your level, folks start saying something must be wrong. I mean, health-wise, are you straight? Are you good? Are you dealing with stuff?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. Yeah, I don't know nothing about that. I think for us, we sort of been in a bubble. You know what I mean? Like not the NBA bubble, but as far as our team, you know, win or lose, we just stay connected with us and try to figure out what we're going to do. That's sort of what happens in a series, especially when you get to this point. So, yeah.
Vince, last one in the back.
Hey, Kris, Milwaukee has had their share of playoff heartbreaks. You know, he just mentioned, you know, your own, but your team as a whole hasn't been through this sort of playoff process, heartbreaks, knowing how to get through it. How do you bridge that gap between giving them your experience but not necessarily bombarding them with it, that it becomes overwhelming? Is there a line that you have to walk there?
No, we just in it. I think I answered that before the series. This is my first time in the finals. You know what I mean? So it ain't like, oh, we need to do this, we need to do that. I think for us, we're in it. You know, they always talk about staying in it and staying with the group. I think for us, all of this is part of it, and we get it. But for us, it's the practices, it's the time in the hotel together, and just making sure that at the end of the day, we play basketball.
Thank you, Kris.
All right.
Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Kris Middleton, 29, 7, and 5 in his last 3.
Hey, Kris. The other night we were talking about Giannis giving you a quick hug as, you know, the game's coming to an end. I'm curious for you, just how do you think he's grown in kind of sharing the process with you guys, where it's not just like, I need to get better, I need to improve, but rather like the idea of we need to do these things?
I think he's been like that for the most part. Guys just don't see it much. Behind the scenes, we're always talking about basketball, how to win games, how to be better. You know, things he see in our game, things we see in his game. You know, it's always been a team effort. Just now, I guess the cameras are on him more or on us more, see a lot more.
I'm curious, you two have very different games. What is like a tip or something he can give you? Or you understand what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
He's not going to do the same things you do.
No, I think a lot of it is, you know, drawing crowds. You know, we both draw crowds in different ways. You know, he sees it from a different point of view, and I see his crowds from a different point of view. So it's kind of just giving that feedback of what we see and where the openings are for each other, either it's for ourselves games or, you know, just find the other guys and get other guys involved and just playing. We're basketball junkies. We love to study film. We love watching games. We love talking about basketball. So it's all about learning.
Towards the center, Mark.
Hey, Kris, as you were weighing whether or not to be committed for Team USA, how did you sift through all those different variables?
It wasn't that difficult. Just, you know, being the Olympian, representing our country, and having a chance to play for a gold medal with a great team. That was it.
How do you deal with kind of the compressed nature of what the schedule is going to be?
doesn't bother me at all. I love basketball. I love playing it. During the off season, it's hard for me to take a couple weeks off because I want to be back in the gym doing something, working on my game. And one advantage of it is I don't have to get back in shape, which is, a great thing for basketball players. Once you get out of shape, it's hard, to get those wheels going again. So for me, that was it.
Jeff, in the middle. Kris, you guys have never been in this position before. So how are you treating tomorrow? How excited are you? Are you trying not to be excited? Where's the balance you're trying to strike to understand the moment and go from there?
Treating it like every regular season game that we've had, every playoff game that we had, taking one game at a time, and every game is a must-win. That's it. Sorry.
Wayne?
Sorry. Kris, what have you guys seen that has enabled you all to be so effective out in transition? You guys had 21 fast break points in the last game. What are you seeing that's leading to that?
It starts with our defense for sure, being able to get a stop. But then we have, really 3 or 4 guys that can always get a board and take it with us and create problems, whether it's going all the way, finding shooters, just creating havoc, having playmakers on the court and shooters on the court that can space has been key for us.
You guys, I've always, you guys average like 14 points in transition in the regular season. It's up to 17 now. Was that placed as an emphasis going into the series, or is that just sort of evolved in this series?
I would say it's evolved. We watched film on ways we could get better, ways we could space the court better for Giannis, especially in transition for him to get downhill and not see a wall. But then also when he sees that wall, being able to kick out, and then we're able to play through that. But yeah.
Steve, here.
You just mentioned treating this like any other game. I know the other night Giannis was talking about how dangerous a team y'all are when you're humble and you stay humble. How have y'all been able to kind of maintain that approach over the course of the regular season and the postseason? How difficult is it to maintain that approach when so much is at stake?
We don't think about what's at stake. I think the main thing with us in our locker room, we've been doing a great job just blocking out distractions, focus on the task at hand and what needs to be done, not in, not out. When we keep it like that, we're able to stay in our routines. Yeah.
We'll go Steve, Zora, and then Dave in the back for the last 3.
Hi, Kris. This deep into a series, do you feel that both teams have seen and shown pretty much everything they do, or do you have your dukes up that Phoenix is going to do something unexpected, or do you guys feel like we can surprise them with something?
I think the best thing is always, expect the unexpected, knowing that a team, especially at this point, one of the last 2 teams standing, that they always can throw something else out there. We have to be prepared for it no matter what it is. Even if we've never seen it before, we got to figure out a way to adjust to it on the fly. Same with us. I feel like we got things that, we can use that we haven't used yet. But that's just basketball, adjusting, finding different ways to win,
Zora?
Hey, Kris, it's clear, both sides are expending a tremendous amount of effort and energy, right, in this series. So when you need to hit a second gear in the moment, what do you lean on? What is your process to get that extra wind?
My training, my treatments, my workouts, everything that you go through the summertime, preseason, up through the season. Those are preparing you for these moments to be ready for them. No matter if you're tired, you're banged up, you're hurt, whatever. You have an extra gear that you've been through, during your summer workouts.
Last question, Dave in the back.
Kris, your career's kind of coincided with the rise of the combo guard. The point guard has been a dominant position in the league. You and Devin are 2 of the best shooting guards that the league has to offer. What have you noticed from his game, playing against him, up close these last 5 games? And then do you take any pride in being one of the standard bearers for that position?
Yeah. I mean, you definitely want to be one of the top guards or players in your position. That's been a goal of mine since I stepped in. There'll always be one of the goal of mine until I'm done playing. As far as Devin Booker, the guy's extremely talented, a guy that can score in so many different ways on so many different people, no matter how many people are on him. As we've seen, he's one that, is definitely going to keep getting better. He's so young. He has so much to learn still, but he's still competing at the highest level and thriving on it. So he's going to have a great career.
And quick follow to get back to Mark's question. You guys are going to transition from competing for the championship to playing for a medal together. You imagine what that's going to be like?
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll be fine. I mean, right now, haven't said a word to each other. I'm sure we won't be best buddies in our team, but we'll be teammates for sure. We'll be on the same path, talking basketball, X and O's, trying to get the job done. That's what all, being competitors is all about, but then also being a teammate is all about also.
Thanks, Kris.
PD.
All right, thanks, guys. Here with PJ. PJ, let's get right to it. 48 minutes away. I'm feeling something great. Take me through the emotions right now.
Man, just trying to lock back in, man. Honestly, watch film, still trying to get better. We didn't play a perfect game. Never do, but, we still made a lot of mistakes. Some stuff we need to get better at, but we know they're coming. They ain't going to give up, so we got to get better.
Speaking of getting better, for you, the intangibles, take us through how you can play a game but not take a shot and still being effective in the game.
Part of doing your job. Some nights, being a role guy, sometimes you get 10, 12 shots. Some nights you might not take any shots, but you still got to come with the same mentality every night. Playing tough D, getting all the 50-50 balls, doing all the intangibles like you said, because that stuff in the end is what adds up to getting the wins.
We know role players can make shots at home, but guys like Pat Connaughton have been making shots on the road. How big is it for him to continue to make shots here in Game 6?
That's one of those guys. He does his job every night, whether he scores, whether he doesn't score. He always comes with the same mentality every single night, and that's the stuff that makes us a good team, and that's the reason we're in the position we're in.
Defensively, you guys have to slow down Book. Had a big night there at home in Phoenix. He's going to come out game-buster Game 6. How do you slow him down?
Do the same things we've been doing. Book's going to attack. Book's going to score a lot of points. He's going to take a lot of shots. We just got to make sure he's taking a lot of shots to get a lot of points. He got to take a lot more shots to get a lot of points that he's going to get. So we're just going to keep being aggressive with him and do the best we can.
You've been around the league a long time. You knew Jrue was a solid player. But now you've been around him as a teammate. Did you realize Jrue was this good?
One of the best. I knew he was really good, but I didn't know he was this good. Drew's every night, both ends. We don't talk a lot, but he shows a lot. You know what I'm saying? And when you got those kind of guys on your team, they're irreplaceable.
We know Giannis is going to set the table for you guys, but Kris Middleton, Game 5, take us through how he was able to close out for you guys making big shots.
That's what he do, man. He got a lot of flack. People really don't know. He don't talk a lot. He don't boast, but, man, I'm telling you, that dude every single day brings the same energy every single day. And like I said, he's another guy that doesn't do a lot of talking, but in the end, you can always count on him.
I know you're a basketball historian. How big was it for this city if you guys can close out here in Game 6?
Man, you can't even go nowhere right now. Everybody's so hyped. 50 years. Last time we was in the finals, won it. So the whole city's buzzing. Everybody's hyped. Everybody talk about Milwaukee and, in the press, everybody talking about ain't nothing in Milwaukee. There's something in Milwaukee right now.
Keep doing what you do.
No doubt.
PJ, 3 shots over his last 2 games. Jrue Holiday's taken 20 in the previous game on his way to 27 points.
Well, I guess real quick, I know Devin was asked about this the other day. I know where your focus is right now, but will you give yourself a few minutes to think or reconsider about Team USA, considering what they're going through, the world's going through, that type of thing? Or are you kind of just all in on that, and when you get to it, you will?
I mean, I watched the games.
I guess I didn't know with Bradley's situation, obviously the COVID.
No, I heard about all that,
yeah.
But fortunately for me, I'm in probably one of the biggest games of my career. This coming up game, so.
Right. Well, speaking of, you guys have had the 3 closeouts on the road. Is there any different mental situation? Because I know you're trying to treat it like it's any other game. However, you just said it's not. So is there, what's your balance there of trying to keep it normal, but also, I guess, as you guys have said, stay in the moment and kind of know where you're at?
Honestly, I think it's about playing desperate, playing like it's the last game of the season, like our back's against the wall. Like we said, we got a good win that 5th game, but the job's not done. And yes, there'd be no better place to do it than at home, but we also got a great team over there who doesn't give up and plays well together. And so, yes, we have an opportunity, and we just got to really focus on and play for ourselves.
All right, we'll go to Dwayne right here.
Yeah, Jrue, you guys are averaging 17 transition points. had 21 in Game 5. What's been key or keys to that, you feel?
I think it's just being aggressive defensively without fouling. I think those first couple of games we put a lot of people on the free throw line. But I think getting stops really helps us in transition. And, again, we have great floor spacing, a lot of weapons, people who can get to the basket, people who can shoot threes. And when we move the ball in transition, it's pretty tough to guard.
Quick follow. Obviously, much is made of the lob to Giannis, but you slowed it down to give him that space to get to that spot. Just maybe take me through that for you and seeing that. Was that going in slow motion for you? Because that's obviously a pivotal point in the game. Maybe just take me through that.
I mean, honestly, after the steal, I think I looked behind me to see if anybody was coming. I think I looked up at the clock to see how much time was left, and I was going to back it out. And I just saw Giannis running, and he was calling for it. So at that point, I think it was me, him, and Kris. Maybe Tuck was back there too, but me, him, and Kris. And I mean, I threw it as high as I could, just so that he can get it.
All right, final question, Mark Medina.
Hey, Jrue, how did you weigh just the different variables of ultimately playing for Team USA, just knowing, the compressed nature of the schedule, but also wanting to take advantage of this opportunity?
I guess, honestly, I just felt like I wasn't going to stop playing. Just continue playing basketball, which is what I love to do. Yes, there is a component of playing for your country, playing for your family. My wife being a two-time Olympian was also a factor. But I think not having a break and just feeling like, well, we're in the finals. Why not just continue playing basketball?
Is there a certain approach you're taking with this, knowing you have another responsibility and a tight schedule?
Say that first part again.
What's your approach with being able to navigate this through a tight schedule?
Win a championship and just go from there. I feel like the goal for us and one of the dreams for me since a little kid was winning an NBA championship. So that's the main focus, and that's what I'm focused on right now.
All right, thank you, Jrue.
DeAndre Ayton putting up those Carlos Boozer numbers, 20 and 10 in 7 of his 21 playoff games.
Associated Press. I'm just wondering, offensive rebounds has been one of the stories of the last few games of this series, the Bucks' ability to convert those. Looking at film, what do you think's made the difference on the board so far, and what gives y'all confidence that y'all can correct that?
Just putting the body on somebody, everybody boxing up properly the right way, and just competing at it.
And I know a couple players here have talked about kind of embracing the situation, having your backs against the wall. What do you think the approach has been from the team so far in the last couple days responding to Game 5? How do you feel where y'all are at mentally right now?
I mean, our culture stays the same. We don't really, be let down on losses. We stick to our script and, we embrace each other's energy and, we see the net move and it's on to the next one.
All right, we'll go to Olivia on Zoom for a few questions.
Start with Trevor Booth from Bright Side of the Sun and then Cody Cunningham.
DeAndre, you've had to expend a lot of energy on both ends of the floor. This series, how much gas do you feel like you have left in the tank, and is it enough to help you guys get back for Game 7?
I have a lot of gas. At the end of the day, this is a high-intensity game, and, this is what I train and this is what the team train for, off-season, to play in games like this. And, it's just the mental stamina as a team of emphasizing togetherness that we have to focus on when we play, especially on the road.
Next is Cody Cunningham from Suns.com and then JC from LaGuerra NBA.
Hey, DA, kind of similar to a couple questions ago. Going back to even the bubble, this team's always found a way to lock in and play its best basketball when counted out. Just what about this locker room makes you guys so resilient and play so well with your backs against the wall?
Literally, coming in the next morning, probably after a loss, the locker room, you probably wouldn't know that we just lost a game 5, at home. When, how we walk in and everybody's just so full of spirit and energy. It's insane. It's almost unreal because the coaches are the same way. Everybody just full with energy and just on to the next right step.
And there's been a lot of talk from this team about the importance of fighting for 50-50 balls and hustle plays. But now heading into an elimination game, how much more emphasis is there on those 50-50 plays, playing with desperation, making sure you leave everything out on the floor?
There's literally everything left on the floor. It's at a high level where we have to compete for everything, every possession's, extremely important. And, I think everybody on the team knows the task at hand, and they know how important it is, and they know how important this game is. And I know how everybody would bring their all.
Well, I'm with JC from LaGuera MBA.
Hey, Deayndre, if there's one thing, what's the most critical area of improvement that you guys need to get better at to close out the next 2 games?
Just competing at a high level, for the long stretches of the game. We just can't compete for, spurts or in quarters. We have to do that for all 48 minutes.
Great. Thanks, Deayndre.
Thank you, guys.